Kelpieone here on Stainedglasscuts. In my last video, how to make large stained glass rings, holes, C's and O's, I showed you a new technique. If you haven't watched it, check it out. In this video, I'll use that technique to create 7 rings that I'll fuse together. By the way, this one only used 6 rings. I'll be relying upon the natural movement of glass when melted and the resultant color created when 3 pieces of glass of different colors are fused together. So let's go. The first thing I'll do is to perform a test. In this test, I'll overlap and fuse 10 different colored strips of glass together and observe the results. This will create 100 different combinations to look at. From these, I'll select 3 colors of glass to use. Okay, here are the results of our test. This, by the way, will make a great planning tool in the future, as it shows what various combinations of glass will look like. But to the task at hand. What I'm looking for are the pieces of glass that, when combined, produce the most strikingly different third color. There are 2 dramatic combinations here. The blue and the yellow producing green. I've used them in this 6-ring design. The blue and the red produce a near black purple. That works great. Unfortunately, the red over the yellow, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I was hoping for a more striking orange. So here's what we've got so far. I could just go with a black third ring. Okay, I'm going blue, green, and red. Nothing ventured, nothing. Here's the glass I'll use to make the rings. I'll make 3 rings from both the red and the blue that are 5 inches in diameter and 1 inch wide. This will leave a 3-inch hole in the middle. I haven't figured out the size of the yellow I need. I know it'll be bigger. I'll do that after I've made the 5-inch rings. I've pirated some clips from my last video to quickly show you the steps I go through in making the rings. Next, I've drawn a guide on my kiln paper. I'll use it in the next step to figure out how large to make my yellow ring, and when I go to lay out the glass in the kiln. First, I made an 11-inch diameter circle with my compass. Then, using my protractor, I made marks at 0, 60, 120, 180, 240, and 300 degrees. Here are the red and blue rings on the guide. Red on the bottom and blue on the top. I'll now figure out the size of the yellow ring I want. The outside of each ring is lined up with the marks on the guide, and I want the yellow ring to cross over the red and the blue rings where the inside of those rings are nearest to each other. The distance to that point from the center is 2.5 inches. That'll be the center of the glass. I'm going to add 1/2 inch to that dimension and multiply it by 2. So I'll be making a 6-inch diameter yellow ring that's 1 inch wide with a 4-inch hole in the middle. Here's all the glass. This is the first time I'll be experimenting with stacking the glass rings 3 high and letting them do their thing when melted. Not really sure what we'll end up with. Here we go. Okay, time for the big reveal. Wow, not too bad for a first go. 2 things I notice. I didn't expect the small holes. A nice addition. However, I would have preferred that they were all the same size. Maybe I didn't line things up well enough in the kiln. The second thing I see is totally on me. I jumped to the conclusion that the yellow rings should be 1 inch in diameter. This produced overlaps that alter the color of the points on the black. Let's look at the layout of the glass in the kiln. First, where the holes formed. Maybe I was just a little off on the 2 bottom right triangles, but not by much. As for the overlaps, yes, I need to reduce the diameter of the yellow ring and increase the size of the hole in the middle. These 2 changes to the yellow ring may fix both of these issues. Let's find out. Okay, I've reduced the diameter of the yellow ring by 1/8 of an inch and increased the hole in the middle by 1/8 of an inch. This should allow the holes to develop more freely and hopefully end up being roughly the same size. By making these changes, the width of the ring, of the yellow ring, has been reduced from 1 inch to 7/8 of an inch. I thought about going to 3/4 of an inch, but was worried about potentially causing other problems. Off to the kiln. So, where did we end up? Still looks great, and the holes are definitely more uniform in size. But I'm not sure if it's because I reduced the size of the yellow ring or was just more careful in my layout. As for the tails, they're still there. I think I know why. If you look at the center, you can see that the red points extend further than the blue points. This is possibly because the red glass melted first or flows more easily. That could explain these points as well. However, when the piece is hung outside, you won't even notice them. Let's add the hanger. Okay, I didn't want to drill a hole in one of the rings because this piece is fairly heavy and I want to maintain the structural integrity of the ring. So this is what I made. Using a 2 3/4 inch length of 1/4 inch wide brass that's roughly 1/32 of an inch thick, I rounded both ends and drilled a 7/64 inch hole in each end 1/4 inch from the end. I then bent it around a 3/16 inch diameter rod into this U shape that fits very snugly over the glass ring. I'll be using some solid brass washers that fit very nicely into the loops of my hanging chain. I've chosen 6 washers because when stacked, they're slightly less than the thickness of the glass. The link and the washers will go into the U and be secured with this nut and bolt. I'll finish attaching the hanging hardware, add the rest of the chain, and here's what it'll look like when I'm done. See you outside. And there you have it, the 7 rings. Hope you found this video interesting. Please consider liking and subscribing. And thanks for watching. Cheers.